Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to break down how you can turn any Nikon mirrorless camera into a high-end webcam for live streaming, virtual meetings, and of course creating tutorials like this. Let's get to it. In this video, not only am I going to go through the menu system and show you the settings that I personally use in order to use my Nikon as a high-end webcam, I'm also going to go through what capture cards I use, the sound, as well as lighting as well, so that you're able to take your next virtual call or live stream to that next level. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying these live streams and want to support the channel, you could join as a channel member right here on YouTube. Memberships start at just $2.99 a month, and it's a great way to help me keep creating honest gear reviews, tutorials, and behind-the-scenes content. Members get early access to videos, exclusive content, and for higher tier members, private monthly live streams, and you'll be a member of my Discord chat. And of course, I'll always continue to share resources that'll help you grow as a photographer or filmmaker. No pressure at all. Just your support means a lot, and it helps keep this channel independent. If that sounds good, hit the join button below, and I'll see you in the chat. First thing is you're going to need a camera, right? So I'm using right now the Nikon Z6 Mark III, and as long as your Nikon camera has an HDMI port, it's going to work just fine. It really honestly doesn't matter when you're live streaming or doing a virtual call. It's already going to boost up the quality to that amazing, beautiful level, or more of a cinematic level, just by using a camera versus the built-in camera of the laptop or your cell phone or something like that. First thing is I'm going to show you the settings that I personally use when I want to use my Nikon as a webcam. So let's start off with the basics, right? We're going to go through, I have it on H.265, that's just me, but I'm just telling you what I have. And then I'm going to switch this to 1080-24. If your capture card can do 4K, switch it to that if you feel like it. Then I'm gonna go down here, auto. I always keep it at the auto. That's just me. And then from here, I actually go to neutral. I don't use standard. And then I come down. I keep going, keep going, keep going. And then area focus, AFF. And then one thing I do is turn off face detect. Okay, that's just me, but I always turn off face detect, but I keep the audio focus area on wide, concentrating on me, so it doesn't bounce back and hit try to focus on a photo in the background or something. That's why I turn off the face detect as well. Everything else doesn't really matter a whole lot because I'm going to be using, well, we'll get to sound in a second, okay? And then after that, we are good to go there. Then the other thing is you want to turn off your screensaver mode or power saving mode. Okay, because otherwise your screen will keep turning off, and then, well, your live stream will look like you're dropping all the time. So we're going to go through and put power off delay and put it on your standby, all the way down to no limit. So there, it just stays on the entire time. This will stay on. That's very important, okay? Make sure you do that. And then, as I said, go to face detect and make sure it's, or subject detect, and make sure it's off. The last thing I want to mention about settings here, your actual camera settings, it's going to vary depending on the maximum aperture lens that you are using, as well as the lighting condition in your room or whatever it is, the space that you're using to use your camera as a webcam. So currently I have it at ISO 800, but I try to go as low as possible and then raise up accordingly. Usually I don't go above 640 for ISO, and the aperture I always try to make it as open, wide open as possible. So f2.8 or wider. So 2.0, 1.8, 1.4. If you just have 1.8 lenses, believe it or not, that is perfect. That's what I usually shoot for talking heads videos for YouTube using a Nikon Z6 Mark III. So if you like the way any of my intro portions of my videos turn out, it's shot at f1.8. So you don't need a 1.4. I probably wouldn't recommend it a whole lot, and then 1.2. And then obviously I have my shutter angle turned on to 180 degrees, okay? And again, some of these may vary depending on the maximum aperture of your lens that you own and the lighting, right? So we're gonna get to lighting in a second. So now let's connect this camera to your laptop. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am currently using a Nikon Z6III as my webcam for live streaming. So first is obviously you want to connect an HDMI to the HDMI port. I also use a USB-C cable to keep the battery charged. That's important. Otherwise the battery will die midstream and you're looking kind of silly. All right, so connect the USB to an AC outlet, which I do have down below. All right, so those are two important things. Now let's get to the capture card, because before you can see it, you have to have a device in between, an interface in between the camera and your laptop right here. Okay, I am currently using the A10 Mini Pro. It's phenomenal, super quick to set up, easy as heck. The computer recognizes it instantly. It's a great way to go, and you can use 4 inputs. So I have one camera, that's my A cam, that's the Nikon Z6 Mark III for that. And when I want to switch to a product overhead shot, I go press the camera 2. And that's what I have right up here, connected to this camera. All right, so, and that looks down to whatever I have on my table, which is quite messy. So that's why I like using the A10, and it's very affordable. I mean, very affordable. And once you connect the software, the driver in your laptop, it recognizes it every time as an input. So whatever is connected to the 4 USB-Cs, you can use through the A10 driver software. Okay, so that's one way. Another way, or another kind of capture card that I've used in the past and absolutely love, and I actually keep this in my laptop when I travel, is the Camlink 4K. This thing right here, this little capture card is only like $99, super easy to use. You could use it with any camera, honestly, but definitely a Nikon with an HDMI port. There's the HDMI, so you connect the camera's HDMI right into here, and then it has a USB port here is what you connect to your laptop. This is the Elgato Camlink 4K, and you just download the driver for free on their website. And then again, same way that you would use the A10, you would use this in between the camera and your laptop, and it recognizes this capture card instantly. Again, it's affordable for like 99 bucks, and it's very travel friendly. Okay, so now that we have our camera set up, we got the settings in the menu the way we like it, and then now we have our camera connected to a capture card, whether it's the A10 Mini Pro from Blackmagic or the Elgato Camlink 4K. So we are pretty much good to go. Now we have to use a streaming software in order to use our camera as a webcam. So that could be Google Meetup or Zoom or something like that. I'm going to use StreamYard because that's what I use to live stream to YouTube. Okay, so now I'm in the settings area of StreamYard, and you can see right here that my only option is the default FaceTime HD camera that's in the laptop right there. Boink. Okay, now I'm going to connect the A10 to my laptop via a USB-C. Okay, so as soon as I plug that in, it instantly recognizes it. Okay, boom, bada bing, there it is, right there, already ready for us to use. So I click that, and you can already see the amazing, beautiful quality compared to the default camera setting of the laptop itself. Okay, so you've just instantly stepped up your game, and all you did was connect the Nikon camera you already had to your laptop. So this is a very nice way to present yourself, especially when you're pitching to clients or you want to do online content. This is the way to go. And you see how fast I was able to do it. Now, obviously the camera settings, I'm keeping it at 1080 because that's the highest I can stream, and that's why my settings on my camera stay at 1080. It doesn't really matter. So there we go. So then once I have that, now I'm good to go. Now when it comes to audio, I use well, it's not connected now, but the Rode Podcaster 2, and then I'll just connect it there with the mic as well as the speaker as well. So, but that's another situation. But right now, you're good to go. So here I am with the DJI Lav mic, and I'm going to take the receiver and connect it to the laptop via this USB-C port. So I go ahead and do just that. So here we are. There it is, nice and connected, ready to go. So obviously the mic is turned on this end, and now I'm going to go inside the setting menu of StreamYard. I go to audio, and then I'm going to select wireless microphone RX, and then from there I click unmute, and you can tell now it is connected, it is connected, it is connected. So, and there we go. Yo, 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 yo. Now it's connected to the microphone. Okay, so now I have the DJI Lav Mic's receiver right here with the USB-C connection port connected. Now I plug this into the laptop. So now that's connected. So the computer automatically will recognize the connection pretty immediately. Now I'm back in StreamYard, and I'm going to go into the settings menu, go to audio. Now I'm going to select wireless microphone RX. That's the DJI Lav mic receiver. Once I have that selected, now the audio is coming from here. This is my sound source for the live stream. Okay, and then I go back, everything else, I exit out of it, and now now I'm using the Lav as my as my audio source, and my Nikon Z6 Mark III as the camera. So that's a very quick and efficient way for you to use your Nikon mirrorless camera as a webcam. We got our sound right, we got our camera settings locked in, we have our camera connected to our laptop and it recognizes it. Now let's talk about lighting, all right? Now there's gonna be so many pros and cons to different ways in which you light, but I'm gonna keep it really, really simple. What you want is at least one good main light source to illuminate you. How your background looks is all up to you, and you're going to change that after a while. Okay, here's my little setup right here. I have my camera B action over there, as I mentioned, and then right there you can see my my key light right there. Now the back of my space I have lit all sorts of ways. You're going to figure out what works best for you, so we won't get to that. Okay, what we will do is talk about your main light. Now this panel is from LumeCube, and it's only 25 watts. And believe it or not, I only use about 40% of it when I live stream. So you don't need something super powerful. What I would recommend is something at least that's like this big, which is about 9 inches, a little bit bigger. If you want to use a small softbox, go for it, but this takes up little to no space. So that works for me, and that's my key light. And once I have the key light locked in, then I light my background according to how I'm lighting my key light and what I like. So believe it or not, there's really no wrong or right answer for your background, but you definitely need to have a good solid key light. Okay, so we talked about our camera settings, how to connect our camera to the laptop via a capture card like the ATEM or the Camlink 4K. We talked about how to produce quality sound using a lav mic, and then of course we lit our webcam footage using a simple light panel. Now let's talk about lens choice. I would recommend using any lens you have with the widest aperture setting. So if you have a 1.8 lens, honestly, I think 1.8 lenses would be the best choice for webcam, just because you're going to get plenty of light entering into the camera. At f1.8, you're going to get beautiful separation, which is going to be magnificent and also elevates the quality of that feed. And don't feel like you need an f1.2 or 1.4 lens. So now, which focal length you choose is going to really be depending on how much space you have in the environment that you're live streaming. So because I want you to be able to push yourself away from the wall, get yourself off that wall so that you create immediate separation between yourself and the background, just like I am right here. Now I'm using the Nikon Z6III f2.8 version 2 lens, and I have it at f2.8. So if you enjoy this is at 2.8. Now generally I like to go a little bit more open with my aperture if and when I can, but I normally don't go more than f1.8. That's just up to me. All right, so now in terms of focal lengths, again, that dictates how much space you have. How much space do you have between you can have between you and the camera in this case. So so if you're able to do a 50, go for it. If you could do a 35, go for it. My sweet spot is roughly around 30 millimeters because I like a nice medium shot when it comes to framing. Some people like a close-up, more headshot. So a 35 or even a 40 or even a 50 may be just what they're looking for. Either way, that's really up to you. But the most important thing is to experiment and create that separation. Of course, I'm going to leave all the links to all the gear down below. I hope this video really encourage you to get even more out of your Nikon mirrorless cameras out there by turning this into a high-end webcam. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. I'll leave links to all the gear. You already know where. And if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, don't forget to press that like, that share, that subscribe, and yes, hit the bell icon to get notifications of upcoming content. And now, go hype this video. I'm Robin Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.